So let's just start by perhaps a very brief introduction of all of you and tell us how long you've been doing this.
I'm Jovita George. I have a beauty, travel, lifestyle channel, and I've been doing this collectively for about 6 years now. It's been a very long time, but yeah.
Hi guys, good morning. You know what, I want to hear you guys. Good morning, guys. Okay, so much better. My name is Padmavati Iyengar. I am a Zumba fitness instructor, and on social media I talk about fitness, health, and well-being in general. Yeah.
I'm Anupriya, and I was there yesterday as well. So I'm a blogger. I write about running, fitness, wellness, and lifestyle, and I've been doing it for almost about 5 years now.
Anupriya, do you remember the day when, or that moment when you realized, oh my God, I think I'm now an influencer? Was there any particular moment, or was it like sort of a slow evolution towards that moment?
So I started with a traditional blog. I would actually write long-form articles, which is very rare now, I think. So when I was writing about fitness, wellness, running, and discussing my postpartum depression, etc., I never thought about influencing or monetizing or anything at all. While I was just churning out articles and sharing my life, certain people started approaching me, why would you like to review us? And there was a point when Adidas approached that they want me to be on their influencer list that they were making. So yeah, that's when I realized, and they kind of pushed me to start my Instagram. So that's when I realized, okay, maybe there is something there.
What about you?
All of us? Padma, quite honestly, I still don't think I'm an influencer.
I don't like the word.
No, I mean, the word itself, I feel, this is my personal opinion, that each one of us is influencing somebody in a small way or a big way. We'll be called on a platform like this if our number is bigger than, the amount of influence that we have is bigger than somebody else. So that's that. I mean, there was no point as such where I feel like, oh, I'm an influencer. Or of course, having said that, I feel that what I say makes an impact. That's that, I think, yeah.
What about you?
It's really funny when it comes to me because I've been doing this for such a long time. And it's only very, very recently, say a couple of months ago, when I don't live here, so I live in Kuwait. So the past month, I've had the opportunity to come for a couple of events like this. And when I meet people in person, when they tell me how I've touched their life, that's when I realized, like 6 years later, that's when I realized, again, like she said, I don't want to call myself an influencer, but how I have that power to affect somebody's life, that power that I realized just a month ago, So influencing is not always about influencing someone to buy something, which is what people think. Yeah. It's also about a lot of things, changing the way the society thinks, like kind of changing the route, altogether. So I realized that I have the power to do that, like the depth of it, just a month ago.
Because we're talking about mental health and, being an influencer and just the cyber world. Have there been like any days where you guys have felt like mentally exhausted and thought, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I just want to quit it. This is taking a toll. And how do you deal then with such a, feeling?
Oh, I'll take this because I've done this, I've been through this so many times. In fact, I've even made videos on YouTube saying, I'm thinking of quitting, you guys. Like, I wanted that last call. Like, if my viewers really even cared about this, I've reached there, like the dark pit. And I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of influencers. We've all been there because, you put yourself out there and you're not just putting the entertainment or the content or the value. You're also putting yourself, your private life and your thoughts. And it doesn't have to agree with everybody else. So for sure, there were times when I wanted to quit, go back to my 9 to 5, and start like a new life, for sure.
What was like the sort of tipping point for you to sort of make those videos or think that I want to quit? Like, was there like any particular tipping point in your lives where you felt and maybe went ahead and shared with your followers that I can't deal with this?
For me, quite honestly, as ironic as it may sound, it's never happened. It's never. Also because as I said, I teach Zumba, right? So I have something outside of social media where I feel, I'm still impacting. It still leaves an impact of what I do. But as long as content creation is concerned, for me, I put content that I like, with no disrespect to people that are following me, but I do it because I like it, not because what I feel people will like. So I feel that somehow helps in me not being so affected by, if there's like a low point and stuff like that. That happens. I think that for me is more than social media. That happens even otherwise. It has very little to do with social media per se. That of course is a medium, but yeah, very little to do for me especially.
What has your experience been?
So this has happened to me a lot in the last 6 to 8 months because I have a startup now. I'm also a single mom and a child who's growing. He's now 12, so he's very demanding of time. And I am out there. I put my life out there. I put my emotions out there. I just share everything that goes on. And not everybody wants to be there with you as my followers during your low point. You can't keep showing that, you're stressed out. One day it's okay, 2 days it's okay. And then there's a point where you're so low, you don't want to be out there. And that's when you're like, why am I even doing this? It's been last 6 months, I would say, have been the toughest for me. But I know because like Jovita said that, I know there are a lot of people I've helped to overcome their postpartum depression, to, probably start taking their wellness seriously. You can't just quit like that. There's so many people you've taken along. And I think that's what keeps you going despite all that you're going through.
And also, I'd like to add just this one thing. I don't know if it is with everybody, but I know it's with a large number of us. We do end up comparing ourselves with our peers, And everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own highs and lows. These are facts. But when one day when you wake up and you see a couple of your peers doing so much better than you, you imperatively start doubting yourself. Am I not good enough? Like, don't people like me? Is my content bad? What should I work on? Like, of course, there is a positive aspect to it because you'll work better at your craft. But then you might be putting your all and still doubting yourself. So that self-doubt, if it is not figured out, it can go into like this black hole of like, I am not good enough. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, may it be views or the number of subscribers, and you really should not compare, but being human, you do at some time, and that can be a tipping point.
Can I add something to that? I think that's exactly also why it's so important for each one of us, not as influencers or not as somebody who, as a content creator, as just human beings, to use the platform to share your truth, because what I stand for, or what my experiences in life is unique to me than her. Even if she does the exact same thing, my experience is still going to be mine. And there is nothing to compare there. So the more you as an individual start putting what is your truth, I think the comparison aspect automatically is irrelevant, because you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it to sort of share what you know and what you believe is right for you, or honest for you. There is no idea of you doing something is because, this is what is working. Yeah. Of course, there is a balance. Having said that, you also need to find that balance of putting what people want versus putting what you feel is right to put.
Yeah, very diverse opinions of how you have had, your own experiences, I think, have been like so diverse. How do you deal with trolls, with really mean comments and I'm sure that all of you have had your share, maybe some more than others, but how do you deal with that? And a follow-up question to that, has your becoming an influencer changed the way you deal with these comments?
So yesterday, I had the opportunity to see Kusha open, and she was asked the same question. And she said, I just don't deal with them. And at that point, I thought, I wish I could do that. You know, the truth of the fact is that I do deal with them, and I wish I didn't. But there are times, like again, you know, a human mind, we have our goods, our bads. There are times when I'm just like, whatever, just let it go, you know. But sometime it really gets to you because they might point out something that you're self-doubting anyways. You know, that those are the worst. So when you yourself are kind of insecure about something, conscious about something, or you're kind of like on the fence about something, and somebody in a very, very rude fashion, they call you out, not call you out, but point it out, it really affects you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think,
yeah, so sometimes I reply. Sometimes, how I like to look at it is I stand up for myself, but that's not how people perceive it. People perceive it as you being defensive. Why are you being defensive? But if you were attacked in person, wouldn't you want to stand up for yourself? Would you just stand there, be a punching bag, and say like, oh, hit me, guys, hit me, it's okay. You wouldn't do that, right?
Absolutely.
You would want to stand up for yourself. But there is a thing like when you're putting yourself out there to thousands of people, you really should learn to just let go. Yeah, but it's a learning curve, you know, for everybody.
To differentiate between feedback and trolling. You know, sometimes there's a very thin line, and sometimes it's genuine feedback, which just seems that people are like being disrespectful, but they're actually coming from a place where they probably don't know how to articulate it well or politely. So that difference is very important. Having said that, like just ignore. Like just, it really impacts you. The first time you're trolled, it can give you sleepless nights. It has to me, even though I don't get trolled very often, but
What do you get trolled on? I'm very curious. What are the things, some of the things that you guys get trolled on?
Let's write a book on it.
Yeah.
could be anything under the sun. It could be for something that you've endorsed. Even if you believe in it, doesn't matter. But the other, once like, you know, I had posted a picture of this little girl, a beggar who had walked up to me and she said, Didi, I want a picture with you. And I just clicked the picture. That picture came out beautiful. Okay, we are both looking at each other. We are smiling. People trolled me for saying that you're using a child to promote yourself. I'm like, it was just a beautiful moment. I mean, how do you know you were not there? And people like, you should have fed the children there. You should have. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I just blocked them. Yeah.
I think in terms of as long as the reaction is concerned, like she said, it's I feel it's important if something bothers you to sort of question yourself as to why it bothers you. If you, for example, leave a good comment on, you know, somebody's picture, on my picture for that matter, I'll be happy. I'll say thank you. Hey, you know what? I'll genuinely feel nice. There's a dopamine that, you know, oh, somebody likes me. But if you say something that you know, I probably don't like, I will call you a troll. If you said something that I feel okay, oh, that was, you know, like a feedback, like a critical feedback, I'd be like, okay, I'll take it. So it really depends on you as to why something bothers you. It has to do with an insecurity that you probably have and you individually need to work on.
But don't you guys think that's a lot of mental effort where you're actually putting in, even on behalf of the trolls? Like, I mean, of course, there's a difference between a feedback, someone who gives you genuine feedback versus someone who's trolling you. But if you're constantly giving, say, benefit of doubt to the other person and thinking of it as a tool for self-improvement, isn't that exhausting? Like, I would be exhausted if I was doing that.
I feel if there's a trash can, you open it, there's going to be trash in it. if versus if there's a perfume. I'm sorry, this is such a shitty example, but so yeah, it's going to smell good, right? So most of the times I just avoid it. For you to not be mentally exhausted is to know what to avoid, and not know what to not give importance to. So I can't go out there and sort of improve every troll or every person that's leaving a mean comment. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they mean. You don't even know them. You don't even care. Like, I don't even care most of the time, with all due respect to everybody. But so it's important to sort of find that, art of
Ignoring.
Just
yeah.
blessing them and moving on.
We all know that like influencers work really hard in sort of crafting an identity of their own, an image of their own, and a brand of their own. Have any of you ever felt that the image that you are putting out there, or the persona that you're putting out there, is inauthentic? Did you ever feel in those moments of flow that my followers should know my lows? They should see what I'm going through, or is that or you don't do that? Because I see very few influencers who actually share about, say, what they're going through on a daily basis, whether it's anxiety, whether it's, and I feel perhaps the trend has changed in the last 1 year or so, where more and more people are coming out and speaking about it, going offline for a few weeks or few months, and then coming back after a while. But have you guys ever felt that the persona that you're exhibiting is an inauthentic one, and you perhaps need to share the other side of life too?
Can I take that? So a month back, for about 2 months, I was in a very, very dark place, where I was crying for no reason. The whole day I was crying. I was not going and even taking a shower. So I was probably hitting clinical depression. That was the time when I felt I'm not being true to my followers, which was stressing me out even more, because, work had to go on. But no, this is my life out there. So I think I took a good break, about a week, 10 days. I did not post anything because I did not feel that I'm doing justice to people, and I'm being inauthentic. I'm not being, like, just being out there means sharing your life. And I'm just sharing one aspect of it where I'm happy, which is not the truth. So yeah, I took a longish break. I came back and I told everybody. I wrote an article about it and stuff. In some way, I try to justify that, by putting it out there, I still feel guilty about not sharing the whole thing. Right. So it will always stay with me. I always want to be authentic and be myself, but it's not always easy.
Yeah, for me, there is like a delicate balance with this, because there are so many times, like months at stretch, when I have been really, really low. I don't always feel the need to be open about that to my viewers, for one reason, which is now there is a trend of, like, this whole anxiety. I'm in depression. Like, everybody is in depression, People, I feel like they also misuse this word. They abuse this word for attention. So I don't feel like I owe anybody an explanation. Also, I don't want, that whole vibe of, oh, she needs attention or whatever. Also, my channel, at the end of the day, is an entertainment / info kind of a channel. I don't want it to turn into, like, look at me, guys, I'm suffering. Like, all of us, forget mental health, we also have physical problems, all of us do. We are not always making videos about, hey, today I have a back pain, today my knee pains. We are not talking about that. So I'm like, why should I speak excessively about it on my social media and, like, change my whole genre and my content into that? Because if I have to, it could be every single day, when I'm feeling anxious. But having said that, I do share, like, I'm a very anxious person. I do suffer from anxiety. And there are a few times when I feel like I really have to share it with my viewers, just to let them know that if you go through this, it's okay, because all of us go through it. So I do share, but not maybe on my main YouTube page, but on my Instagram stories. And I get asked a lot of questions like, how do you deal with it? I don't deal with it, because I'm just like you. I don't know what to do about it. I get panic attacks, I get anxiety, and life moves on. And I do take breaks, and when I come back, I do put a post saying sorry for being missing. But I don't always give an explanation, because who
And
wants
that's
to
the
know
dilemma,
about it?
right? Of being thought of as attention seeker while you actually might be going through something, because people are using
It's
the
a very
word
thin
very
line.
loosely now.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. It's just a word, even panic attacks, people are like slightly like, thinking what to do
Nervous,
next.
yeah.
Nervous. Nervous is now taken as anxiety attacks. So,
Yeah, I think to follow that, there shouldn't be this pressure of, being your real. Who knows? Do you know you're real? How do you know what is real? I don't know if I'm real. What is the definition of real? So, what I choose to put out is what I choose to put out and what I want, as long as it's honest. That is also who I am. That doesn't mean that's like a fake side, and there's more, there always is more to everybody. I hope there is more to each one of you than what you share on social media, right? And it's as it's sad if people think that what people show on social media is all they are. That only means that people don't live outside of social media. It's people that don't live outside of social media, they don't have a life, will think what a person chooses to show is like entirely, who they are or what they stand for, or, what they're going through. They're always happy or sad or depressed. So there always is more. So it's important. It's unfair to put somebody firstly on a pedestal and expect them to share everything. Everybody is the same. Each one of us, like she said, is going through something, right? And things that somebody might have figured out, I might not have. So as long as that person chooses to share, hey, you know what, this works for me. If I need to take inspiration from there, I will. If I don't see an inspiration there, I will not. That doesn't mean I question them for not showing me who they are. It's just unfair.
Fair enough. Fair enough on that point. Yeah.
she's a very good follower of whoever she's following.
Because you guys brought up the topic of breaks, do you take breaks without worrying about having to share what you're doing? So one of the things that I have noticed with some of the influencers I follow is that they even turn their vacation into a marketing gimmick of sorts, or they're just oversharing from vacations. And I'm thinking, when do you ever put your phone down? And like, if this is supposed to be a legit break, why are you not on a break? And I think all of us in this room will relate to it. Like when we go on breaks, we're like, अब तो digital detox करेंगे हम, phone बगल में रखेंगे, but that never happens. You're never really putting your phone aside, right? So for influencers, I feel like that's like it seems like an added, I don't know, at least some of the influencers I've seen, it seems like an added burden that even on vacation you need to show, you need to market. Do you guys face that sort of burden?
It's a choice, right? If somebody likes sharing what they're enjoying, why not? Why not? If somebody chooses not to, they want a digital detox, they will find that. If I want a digital detox badly, nobody can force me, me meaning in general, a person to sort of use their phone, unless they want to. Or they can't live without it. If they can, they will just go on a detox. They don't even need to say that, oh, I'm on a detox. It'll just be
But
there.
is there pressure? What I meant to ask was, is there pressure for influencers to, or worry that it might lead to, say, loss of revenue, or that if I don't do it, this brand will go to somebody else? Like, do you guys have those thoughts when you're taking a break?
For sure, because we work on weekends, we work in the night, we work during the day. Our brain is always working for ideas, content. Our emails are always popping, and they need to be answered. So when you take a break, for sure, you're losing out on something, for sure. And coming back to the vacation thing, a lot of the time, the vacation doesn't have to, we don't have to correlate a vacation to a break. A vacation, like for me, when I go traveling, I vlog it, I story it, because I want to share my experience with my viewers. For people who can't travel, I want to take them through my eyes. Hey guys, see, this is how it is. Nice. Because I started with wanting to show my mom what I'm seeing, and then I'm like, hey, there are so many others I want to share this with. And also people who are planning on a travel, I'm there first, I can tell you what is good, what's not good. So in that way, so it doesn't always have to be like a vacation is a detox. When it's a detox, an influencer just shuts down. You won't find that person. So, and you don't realize, because on your feed you have 500 other people you're following, you don't realize when this person is gone missing. You realize only when she's back.
Yeah.
So a vacation doesn't have to mean a detox.
What you said, I'm going to add, I just thought of something very interesting. Just the fact that, because she mentioned vacation, if she's traveling to Maldives, right? I don't have to physically be in Maldives. I can still experience Maldives. We don't realize how crazy that is as a concept. I don't have to physically be in a place to feel it. So I feel it's great if somebody chooses to share like a place or whatever experience they're having. You get to experience it sitting on a sofa. I think it's just something that I thought, and I thought that it's important to share it. It's just crazy as a concept, right? There's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing wrong about it. It's only amusing. It's only amusing that social media does that. Or
One last question, and I think I'm getting, and then I'll
Oh,
open it
damn
up
it.
for the audience, yeah? Just one last question. So I'm sure there are a couple of people in the audience who are aspiring to become influencers. How should they be prepared for some of the challenges that might come their way, whether mental health, otherwise? Quick tips from all three of you.
Okay, so when it comes to me, I get picked apart on everything, including my accent, my skin color, my weight, my hair, where I live, what I put out, how excited I am, when I'm not, how like subtle I am. So you get picked apart on every single aspect of yourself. So you have to, at some point, put a barrier and realize, like, you need to know who you are. You need to have your self-worth and self-understanding so that a random comment will not get into your brain and wreak havoc, because that can happen. It is the reality. So, like, this depression with respect to social media is a very real thing because somebody is going to come and tell you, you are ugly, you have to die, you have to fall off the face of the earth. All of this is going to happen, and it can affect you. So at some point you have to build a wall and let only the constructive criticism seep in through, and you have to figure it out for yourself, like which of these you need to let in. So that's very important, that wall, build it.
I feel if you're aspiring to be an influencer, what you're aspiring to be is impact a lot of life or leave a mark or, give something that a person wouldn't have otherwise, right? It's something that you're sharing that you can share. It's something unique to you. So that's what you're aspiring to be. If that's what you're aspiring to be, the only tip I can give is be honest to yourself. Be really, really honest as to what you stand for, what you like, and what you're passionate about. Something, and again, even if you love something, there is going to be a point where you'll not like it anymore. So it's important to always learn, especially in the time that we're living in. Everything is very, very fast. Everything is changing fast. The knowledge that you have, probably 10,000 other people have. There's nothing unique about it. So it's very important to always learn more, add value to your own life so you can add value to other people's life. And as long as trolls are concerned, that's the thing about being in power. If you're influencing people, you have power. So with power, there also is a certain responsibility that you have and certain wisdom that you will eventually, sort of develop. So yeah, you'll figure stuff out. As long as you're honest, you're doing what you really want to do. You don't realize how similar each one of us is. Especially now, in today's time, we're all very similar. Have a conversation with somebody outside, ask them how's life doing for them, you will see so much of similarity. So people are looking for inspiration. Be honest, that's all I'll say, no matter what you do.
Yeah, so basically she said a lot what I wanted to say, that be yourself. But because she said, and Jovita has added a lot of insights, the only thing I would want to say, and it's a very boring advice, start meditating. Yeah. A lot of questions are answered to you when you meditate, when you're stressed out. Those 20 minutes of every single day are life-changing. In fact, a lot of thoughts on what you can create also come when you're meditating. So those 20 minutes, dedicate every single day. meditate, because it will help you deal with trolls, it will help you deal with the stress, it will help you deal with the changes in algorithm. Like when you're peaking on Instagram, on YouTube, and suddenly they decide to change the algorithm, it can really put you down. So meditate.
Okay, so we'll now open it up for audience questions.
I love when there are hands.
This question is for Jovita. Jovita, you said that you don't let people affect you by building that wall.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on how you built that wall so that some of us as other creators can maybe emulate your process? Thanks.
So it's something that you will figure out yourself. Your brain will build yourself to it. So you just have to trust the process. For me, again, I've been doing this for 6 years, and this happened through that journey. There were times when I would even take offense to constructive criticism. I'm like, how dare she tell me I don't look good today? There were times. But then I was like, hey, there is something to it. Because I did go through a phase where I absorbed everything, all the hate. So I did go through, I am the worst human on the planet. And I did go through the phase where I was like, none of you are right. So, you will figure out at some point, you give credit to yourself, give yourself that time, you will figure out what to let in and what to block.
Hi, I'm Parinita. My question was like all of you said that there is a time when you were very low, you detox yourself, you take a break from your all work and then you again restart. But taking a break and then restarting, that moment I think is the most struggling moment. So like how to deal with that when you you go through such a bad phase, such low time, and then you have to motivate yourself and restart again. So like how to, that most struggling point.
Find more to what life has to offer. Find out, experience things as much as you can. And the struggle period that you're talking about is always when you're going through that the struggle of, the mental struggle of, okay, now nothing is working out, or, this is stressing me out. When you take that break, when you cut off and you experience life, experience what more than social media is, you will it's crazy how it works. You will automatically find ways to add more to social media, because it's a very small aspect of your life. So as long as during the break, if that's your question, what you do is experience life. So you add more.
But like Anu ma'am said, and like Jovita ma'am also said, that there are times which are very low, and then you have to start off again, like after a break. That starting off again is you have to just get up again, and that point, how to deal with
The way I deal with it is accepting it. Accepting it's a problem, accepting that I'll be stressed, accepting I'm going to be anxious, accepting that after 10 days when I'm posting, it's going to, my heart is going to beat faster. It does happen. It's the truth. However experience you might have, you would still be insecure. You'll still feel that, what if? I think accepting it and taking a deep breath is the way to be. And like I said, meditate. It will really help you.
And also, if your question was about how to get back into it, it's just like working out. When you work out, you just want to work out more. And when you take a break, you just don't want to go back. But that one day, you push yourself, you go, and then it's just back. So after your break, just do, you'll be passionate about something. There'll be one subject you're passionate about. Just do that one post, one video, and then everything will come back. So don't worry about it.
And then you'll realize it wasn't so bad. When you hit the gym after 10 days and you're sore, and you're okay, you live with it.
Thank you.
Hi, this is for all three of you. As women content creators, I know a lot of it is about creating your own brand and your own content, but I see, like Jovita, I see you stand up for other women creators when they're facing an issue and, people are creating a trouble for them. So is that important to all of you, or do you feel like that's just adding to the drama? Like when you see something happening with someone else?
So for me, personally, it depends. If I feel like it's taking a very ugly turn, I stay out of it, because my whole point is not to add to it, because there are also people who thrive out of drama, and I'm not saying that's wrong, because that's their way, whatever. But then I feel like there are times when my personal friends need my support, then I will voice out. So it's a personal call. Like if you feel you need to do it, otherwise stay out of it. And it's okay, nobody, like even those people are not gonna judge you for it, you know, it's fine.
Thank you so much. Just before I close, I just want to sort of point out one thing that one of the things that we don't realize, having been on social media for so many years, is that more and more the algorithms are driving you to react more. And I think that in itself is inherently problem, that we actually don't seem to want to listen to people. We only seem to want to just react instantly, whether it's a tweet, it's an Insta comment, you know, you're like, you're ugly, you're fat, whatever, you know, you don't need to. I mean, would you say that to somebody if you see them? Like, you wouldn't, right? So I feel like social media, in that sense, by giving us that anonymity, has taken away our filters. And I mean, kudos to all you influencers for being out there and doing what you do and putting out fantastic content for so many people and making that impact. I think a lot of people just don't realize how hard it is to create content. I'm a podcaster myself. There's fellow podcasters here, and they will know how difficult it is to just get content out there. But I think one of the advantage that we have as podcasters is that we are forcing people to do active listening. And I think that just should happen in real life, frankly. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.